as it is in Nigeria today, have really shown that the government in power have really failed. Failed in the sense that human development capital is the basis of every developed nations globally. And if nation fail to develop its own people, it has shown that that government need to go back to the drawing board. It's quite unfortunate the government is at the closing end of their tenure. And it's not really fair for we, Nigeria. It's a decision period we are approaching. ASUU. The reason for ASUU going on strike for the past 7 months is for the best interest of Nigerians. Why? Because if you see the decay in the Nigerian university system vis-a-vis universities in Africa, Nigeria being pride herself as the giant of Africa, I think have nothing to show the rest of Africa that it's really giant, because giants are determined by human resources. So the issue of going to court, taking ASUU to court, have shown that the government has failed with idea to progress these nations to the so-called next level they are using as their slogans during when they come to this government. Nigerians as it is now, in all aspects of Nigerian system, Nigerians are not happy with this government. And it's like, I don't want to talk about the president, but his lieutenant in the field, those ministers, especially Ngige himself, that is the Minister of Labour, was pioneering this negotiation from the onset and could not be able, in his capacity as a Minister of Labour, ought to have resigned before now. And the idea that he don't know that ASUU has been taken to court, having a representative of federal government negotiating with the lawyer representing ASUU in the industrial court, have not really worked out well for that Ministry of Labour. They are there just collecting money. They are not doing anything in our favor.
The issue of ASUU with the federal government, the phase-off, it has lingered for many months. There are 7 months or thereabout. Though I could remember under Obasanjo administration, I was in school then, ASUU they were on strike for about 6 months. But it was resolved, and there was an election that era. So this issue of ASUU and Nigeria government and strike has lingered for too long. But what is going on right now is, I think this particular government lack a method to resolve it. They are losing concentration by dragging ASUU to court, to industrial court, which is wrong. And now you are trying to negotiate with them. So what are you trying to push them to the wall? These are professors, even though the Nigeria academic system is so dull and so unproductive, but they are still professors. We give it to them. That is their merit. But to me, what government should do is to make sure that the students will go back to classroom. But this particular government is having lack of fund. They have borrowed too much, they have mismanaged the economy, and they are under pressure. They can't meet up any agreement. Those money ASUU is asking for, they can hardly pay. And they are not willing to cut the cost of governance. I don't think they are seriously serious with education. To me, they are not serious. So what should happen is, I think government is envisaging that what happened to doctors will happen to the professors. Many doctors left Nigeria. About 50% of resident doctors left the country. They even collected loan from the bank, on the job loan, and traveled to Canada, USA, where people are respected in their profession. Maybe professors will go. Those who actually went to school, those who have their credential that can defend it, not those who are doing off the microphone when they are being interviewed, or they form fainting. Some professors form fainting. To me, they are not serious, even the professors. To me, I think these professors are the ones that might rig the next election. I pray they will not succeed, because it has always been professors, returning officers, who rig elections in Nigeria. I don't think many elections are credible. So these professors need to learn their lesson. But if they are giving 100 million, they can forget their surname. But I pray they will not. So government has to do something which I think they cannot do. In short, they have actually failed because they have accepted not to win the next election. They have accepted not to win the next election by allowing this ASUU strike to linger, dragging them to court, trying to negotiate with them after insulting them. They are not serious. In a good environment, the president will resign, but here nobody resigns. In a good environment, somebody will lose his job, but people are not losing their job. So I may look like a critic, or one who is not in support of the government, but I try to be factual, irrespective of sentiments. So that is my position.
It's obvious that the federal government, they have run out of ideas on how to tackle the issue. So you understand? The fact always remains that they are less concerned because their wards or their children, they either be in foreign lands attending university, or they are in Nigeria here attending private university. So they are just playing on intelligence of the poor people of Nigeria, the students who are from poor homes. And you see, because they cannot go to, if they go to court, they will find themselves to be blamed because they are saying that there's no work, there's no pay. That's why they will go there. And by the time, I'm very sure we are talking of law. We are talking of written law here. And the law is always that they have the right. Any employee of government have the right to go to court on industrial matters. And as soon as they go there, definitely they will need to. It is known that every day they are on strike will be paid. So, but if they are not saying they go there, they will find themselves to be blamed at the end of the day. But they're just trying to buy time. What I see overall, and the overall aspect of it is that they want to transfer, because this government, given about 5 or 6 months to this time, will definitely pack their loads and they will go. They are trying to see, they want to transfer this matter to the next incoming government. So that's the way I see it.
If you talk of ubiquity vis-a-vis the recent corruptions coming out of the system in Nigeria, with the demand of ASUU, I'm sorry, the generation that are going to face this nation after this government have really been crippled. Because as leader, before you become a leader, you must know that leadership is a body. You must understand the rules guiding you as a leader. The constitution is there, which specify everything about the way and manner the government should run an institutions or a country like Nigeria. My brother, it's quite unfortunate for not getting it right. Why? Because the right people that are supposed to lead us are not the ones leading us there.
They don't have any solution at all. They are looking at the amount, and mind you, the amount they are looking at was embezzled by one person. It was taken away from the cover of the government, knowingly and unknowingly by government. They shared the money of about 176 billion, not even a million, billion naira. It's quite unfortunate. It's a shameful thing that government could go to the extent. Even with that case alone, with the Attorney General and the Accountant General of the Federation alone, embezzling 176 billion, I mean, government should just have to, they will have easily pay ASUU. And ASUU is not fighting for their post alone. They are fighting for the betterment of education, especially the university education in this country. Because these are the people we are expecting will take over from government, or the personnel of government. We need graduates. And then of course, if we now allow them to come out with outbaked graduates, it's quite unfortunate. In overseas countries now, particularly in London, Nigerian graduates are just being played down. The quality of education is not it at all in this country. So, based on that, Accountant General alone, that matter alone, government should have actually covered their face with clothes and go back to ASUU and settle with ASUU.
As a citizen of this country, I will talk to government to look at the demand of ASUU, because the demand is for the good interest of this country. In short, what ASUU is even asking of in the first place? In a class, the standard is 25 students per lecturer. But in a class whereby you see 300 students, some of them hanging on the window, receiving lecture, how do you think about that? The public address system is not there. As I'm talking to you, it's only you, me and you that are hearing ourselves. Take for instance, I'm talking to about 300 people here. How do you imagine they will understand? And this is an aspect of impacting knowledge. Let me take you further. The issue of no work, no pay. The government want to capitalize and refuse to pay them their arrears is out of point. As a lecturer, your work is divided into three: teaching, research, and community service. What is that? The only thing they talk about is that the lecturers are not in the school to teach the student, but they are doing research. Serious research is going on as I'm talking to you. And a lot of community service are also, lecturers are involved in a lot of community service, which if we go into it now, I'll start bringing it out for you. But the time is short. Young man, I wish Nigeria the best, but no country progress without its human capital development.
Federal government just like the will. If you say they don't have the capacity to do so, I would say no. They just don't have the will. When the willpower is not there, of course the attention will not be there. We are approaching an electionary period. Because federal government's attention is on election, whatever other sectors of the economy is asking for that has to do with the election, of course the government will give attention to that. But because they lack the will to address academics, they address educational system in this country, and that is exactly why you are seeing what we are seeing today.
Based on my own observations and analysis, this government will wait to hand over ASUU to the next government. But I pray they will think otherwise and do the needful. Because students staying at home now, as I'm talking to you, some ladies have already gotten pregnant. Some boys have turned to Yahoo boys. Others are on the streets. Hopelessness has increased in the system. It's not really helping the country. Democracy, they said, is the government of the people, by the people, for the people. And if truly that is the concept of that democracy, and we are in democracy, I appeal that government should please reconsider the demand of ASUU and make things better for Nigerians.
Whether you like it or not, 65% of the voting strengths of Nigeria belongs to the youth. And if they have refused to give attention to what affects the youth directly and indirectly, of course, it will affect, their interests as well. So, for me, if you ask me, I would say yes, youth, take back the powers that belongs to you. Use it against them as well. Since they fail to understand the power of the youth in terms of education, then the youth will also have the power again to revolt against them during the elections. It's as clear as that.
In my own opinion, I think our university professors, that's the academics and scholars that we have, they deserve a better treatment. They deserve a better treatment, because there's no way our nation, Nigeria, can grow without, what the inputs, coming from the universities and that kind of thing. Now, but ASUU on their own side, shot themselves on the leg. We have about 10,500 professors in Nigeria, and the total amount paid them per annum is 4.8 billion naira. And out of 469 NAS members, they are paid 128 billion. Can you check this in? Now, these are politicians. They call these university professors and give them assignment to go and rig elections for them, and they do it, happily. What do you expect? In Nigerian situation,
you use and dump. Professors are academics, for goodness sake. You know the route it takes for somebody to become a professor. So why should you allow, you know, a governor or INEC to call you to come and rig elections for them or that kind of thing? It's uncalled for. You know, that's where they lost their integrity and they lost their respect, and then the politicians are now treating them anyhow. So when you talk about federal government, whether the federal government is right or they got it right or that kind of thing, you know, is the professors first of all that, you know, didn't get their acts right. But I'm saying that they deserve a better treatment because everybody has, you know, should have respect for them. What does it take? If you can pay, if you can give NAS, you know, make it an independent section and give them, you know, whatever billions they ask for. Why would you allow the professors, you know, to get what they want or that kind of thing? So it's a thing that both sides need to, you know, kind of, you know, come together and agree. Federal government, what are you doing with the money that is within your purview or that kind of thing? People have sat down at home. Our students have sat down at home for over 7-8 months now, and you are busy carrying out campaign. It's wickedness, for goodness sake. They should shut down the system. If you can shut down the educational sector, shut down the system as well. Your children are outside Nigeria reading and studying and that kind of thing. You are busy, you know, playing politics with people's, you know, future and that kind of thing. You know, we have 2 sets of jam bites that have not entered the university. Very soon now they start writing the 3rd one. You know, so what happens to the 3rd set? What happens to the 1st set? What happens to the 2nd set? You know, and people are busy. The PDPs, the APCs, and the whatever, they're busy, you know, campaigning. What are you campaigning when you cannot address basic issues of the ASUU? So federal government should do their work. The money is Nigerian money. It is not anybody's money. Use that money wisely.
Government don't know what they are doing. Their interest is no more in education. It's about election 2023. And somebody don't have interest or lose focus, you'll be confused. Who advised them to go to court first? Is it now for them to go to court or to find solution to the problem? So it's only that I'm just praying God will help us. God will just touch our leaders' heart to know. Look at what happened yesterday now. Look what the students did now. Look what the innocent people want to travel for one occasion. What happened at that Tonland Beach? Look how Nigerians suffer from no reason. And they are sitting and watch and look. If they go to court or let the president himself call the ASUU union, come up to me, let's settle this thing. It's a matter of dialogue. It's not by I want to show verses. Private government don't know what to do. If for them now, I will advise them. They should, president by himself should come out to call the ASUU leader, not to send any delegate again any longer. If they look at it now, they want to intervene. They want to bring the labor and to bring ASUU. What intervene? What the president doing himself? Why president cannot come out? If you know you actually love Nigerians and you say that you are not for somebody, you are for everybody. But now you are proving you are for somebody, not for everybody.
We are already coming to the end of it. For whatever has a beginning will definitely have a concluding end. So this is the peak of it. It can't go beyond this. Court is the last option. And if they deny that they've not taken ASUU to court, then who took ASUU to court? I can assure you that they will come back to the round table and get the final conclusion, and I'm sure everybody at the end of the day will go back to, you know, their places of work. The students will go back to the schools, and the federal government should also be able to redeem their promises and for ASUU to rescind their order on strike as well.